IDS here with another ranking. It's the 2007 Matoran. Kind of. Two Matoran and two Rahi. 2007. I've been critical of 2007 compared to many other years. I think 2007 is heralded as a fan favorite year for a lot of people. But it doesn't hit the same for me in a lot of ways. However, I can't say the same about half of these guys. The 2007 Matoran design is a very, very nice, creative, mock style Matoran. I've spoken before that I think small sets, across the board largely, are a cool opportunity to reuse existing pieces in a new way and give us something that's like a creative build, like the Turaga largely used pre-existing Technic pieces with some Bionicle elements thrown in. Same thing with the Borok Var, same thing with the 2006 Matoran. I think the 2003 and the 2004 Matoran mix that up a little bit, kind of having their own unique torsos. But yeah, and then of course the Rahaga fall into that category as well, of the kind of reusing old pieces, giving us a recolor here and there, kind of mixing it up. And I think these guys embody that pretty well. And I think the 2007 Matoran design is also widely beloved as well. It's a shame that we only got two. I don't know why there's only 4 of these guys. Unlike 2003, where we had an unorthodox Matoran wave, we at least still got 6 sets. It is very bizarre that there was only 4. Compared to 2006, you can see that the budget was sort of slashed with 2007. We got far fewer new molds, so I don't know what was going on. I think they were reshifting what they were doing. But hey, it is what it is. The 2 Matoran that we actually get here, Defilak and Dakar, pretty nice. We got 2 recolors of the Haga masks, as I like to call them. It is interesting that these masks would get more recolors than the analogous Metru masks, discounting the Ruru, given that I would consider them kind of Metru era masks, especially with Dakar's mask coming in 3 colors, 4 if you include the black on the Duma mask as well, at the end of the day. Interestingly, there's a store in the UK called, it was called Wilkinson's, and then was later called Wilco, which is funny because that used to be like the nickname. There was this weird knockoff Technic motorcycle that had an old flat dark gold version of this mask. I saw it once on their website, and I actually went to hunt this thing out, and I could never actually find it, which is annoying. And there's seldom copies you find online. Considering a Takanuva gold version of this mask exists as a knockoff, and not in this kind of modern era where you can get like third-party stuff and like resin molds and stuff pretty easily, like back in the day. Not super back in the day, but back in the day. I've not really seen it on mocks or seen it floating around that much, so it's kind of a rare find. But yeah, anyway, off track there. Cool to get some recolors. Again, very much in the vein of previous small sets. Canonically, what these guys, at least the Matoran side of things, depict are the pit mutagen's reversion of some of the Karzani's mutations. In a weird way, similar to the 2003 Matoran, these guys are also supposed to resemble 2004 style Matoran, which is why they've utilized the Hordika armor to create a Dorito style body, just like the Metro Matoran. Maybe it's a bit of a stretch, I don't know. I also find it weird that a mutagen would undo body horror-esque rebuilding of Karzani. That's a bit strange, but whatever. It ends up creating a very nice little Matoran design. And then the other 2 are the Hydruka. The Hydruka are aquatic Rahi that mill around grazing on the sea floor and help the Matoran collect air bubbles. They're neat little designs, right? Though I think I speak for everyone when I say that I would have rather had 2 other Matoran. Like a Co-Matoran and a Onumatoran would have been much more appreciated rather than these 2. And I think the problem is, and I have no issue with getting Rahi, because actually I think perhaps we got not enough Rahi later on. I think these guys are hindered by the fact that the Rahaga exist. Like, the Rakshi head, pardon me, got a lot of reuse over the years, which is fine. Again, reuse the elements that you have, but another set of small sets with these heads again, when we got these the year before last, makes these guys feel cheap, more so than if they had just been something else. Like, it doesn't make sense for a Rahi to just have a Konohi, but if these two had, like, a recolored Konohi and it was the exact same build, it doesn't make sense. I think people wouldn't hate them as much. Not hate them, but not care about them as much, but, you know, they by having just Rahaga heads without new recolors, when the other two Matoran get recolors, feels lazy. And especially because we already had small sets with the Rakshi heads. Couple that with the fact that they basically don't even get mentioned in the story. I think one of the two, gets a name drop, and the other one just technically exists, but was never even mentioned in canon. I can't remember which one. But yeah. So I think a lot of people probably felt like they were a little bit shortchanged here, where it's like, great, we get two sets with 0 recolors to occupying 2 of the Matoran slots. Which is a shame. And I'm not even against mixed character species waves. In my ideal world, after 2008, we would have got Reign of Shadows sets under Makuta's rule. And in Reign of Shadows, the Toa have to split up. And it wasn't explored that deeply, and in my own version of Reign of Shadows, I have the way the story would have panned out. And in my opinion, that 2008 gave us the perfect reason for us to get new versions of the Nuva every year without having to justify it. Because before you'd have to, oh, they mutated, oh, they fell into energized protodermis, oh, the red star shot. Like, you have to keep coming up with excuses of why the Toa are changing forms. Guess what? 2008 gave them adaptive armor. We can make the Nuva again and again and again without having to come up with a story reason. So in my perfect world, the next few waves of sets would have been similar to sort of like how we were splitting them villains and bad guys. I would have actually gone with like a 2009 sort of split where we have one villain set, which would have been a clone villain, and then 5 mixed species sets. Because in my opinion, I think the Toa Nuva have to split up so they don't bring too much attention to themselves within the Madanui robot while under Makuta's control. And meanwhile, Makuta has put the Vaki back into production, put the Exotoa into production, and those are his sort of minions, creating this big brother, a post-apocalyptic kind of surveillance state as he's hunting down the Matoran and corralling them together. While the Toa have had to band with the other species. In my opinion, the Skakti would never really align with Makuta. They are anarchists, they are rebels, they're not going to fall into line. And it would have been cool to have gotten a wave of... We get 2 Toa in a wave. We get a Skakti in a wave, a Skakti rebel. We get a Vortex in a wave, of course, like a canister-sized build. Like, getting these mixed species bands where the denizens of the Matoran universe have to work together to kind of be the resistance against Makuta in small pockets, and then we would have got mixed waves. So I'm not against mixed waves here. It's just that Hydruka are profoundly boring disposable sets. Just, again, I think it really just boils down to having that damn Rakshi head. Give us a different head, and I think people would like these a lot better. You know, I've dipped my toe into mentioning my Reign of Shadows sort of treatment. Maybe I'll retouch on that at another time. Let me know the interest there. It just means I have to put more effort in, and I think I want to put my effort into animations, and putting relatively easy to produce content out like this and the shorts is just to keep the channel alive and keep you guys entertained without too much effort. It is slop, but I hope you get some entertainment out of that slop, because it's either produce slop or produce nothing. And I think at least some of you guys enjoy the slop, right? Right, you have to have the slop in between the big stuff. Anyway, I'm rambling. Let's get into discussing these sets. Who's my least favorite? Morak is my least favorite. Oh, why did I make him so big? Move. Morak is my least favorite. This is the Morak build. He is the blue Hydruka. Maybe he's the one that doesn't get mentioned. Again, one of them doesn't actually get mentioned in the story. Let's look at the product, I guess, image of it. Right? Again, similar to the Matoran, they gave fake eyes, misleading fake eyes. These sets do not have green eyes. They look like this. It's a decent enough design. It's a little like scorpion tail type thing. And these pictures do a lot to make it look cool. In a way, you might be like, why do I like Morak less than Thulox? Morak has technically a glow-in-the-dark piece. You know, one of the new Tuckerdox pieces. I think by virtue of having this little spike, he actually has more pieces than Thulox. So technically he has an extra play function than any of these guys. Why isn't he not ranking higher? Or it, she, he, I don't know. It just doesn't come together all that well to me. I love these Matoro trans pieces, but they're not the same color as this shell. And on a set like Tuckerdox, it doesn't matter because there's lots of those pieces, so it shows like a color layering. You know, you've got the dark blue base, then you've got the trans blue bones, and then the kind of translucent shells on top of that. There isn't really enough of this color on this set to make it feel like it's intentionally some overlaying, so it looks like a color mismatch. And it doesn't look great to me. And, you know, the rest of it is just boring. You can actually see that this isn't that great of a build either. It's just a lift arm with arms stuck to the bottom. Again, for a small set reusing stuff, it's not terrible. It's just, yeah, whatever. They come with gunmetal Zamor launchers as their kind of solidified air bubble launchers on these guys. Cool, fine. I'm happy when they reuse launchers, to be honest. I know they don't depict the Zamor launcher, but it's abstract enough you can kind of get away with it. I find it strange, stuff like the disc launchers and stuff were like, 2004, you're never going to see them again. I don't mind them bringing back launchers and reusing them here and there. And luckily the Zamor, being quite a custom-built piece, did get a lot more usage. It came back in 2008 as well. Did it appear in 2009 at all? I can't remember. But even still, happy to see it still around. But you can kind of see the builds of Mark. I think I got a picture of Thulox that shows some more angles of this build as well. But yeah, you know, it's the gray legs adds another color. The black tail, the dark blue, the blue. Like, there's too much blues going in here. The colors don't look that pleasing to me. In fact, if you wanted to not give these guys a recolor, give us a recolored, you know, Matoran limbs. Give us these limbs in dark blue and dark red. Or but give them in black and just have them both have black Metronui limbs. I think that would have added some value to these guys. So yeah, Morak just looks the worst. Again, disposable. Color scheme isn't that interesting, despite the glow-in-the-dark thing. Yeah. Morak, you are definitively the worst of these guys. Next is Thulox, of course. Again, the other Hydruka. But why is Thulox better, though? Thulox is better because of kind of a creative color choice here. By using the Kalma body armor, which transitions from black to dark red, they reflected that in the build of this guy. So his front legs are dark red, his back legs are black. And that's kind of creative. That simple change to me elevates him far beyond Morak. Ideally, this front bone should have been red as well, I guess. But you know what? It's on this base. It's almost like the undercarriage is black, and the top layer of stuff transitions to dark red. You can kind of see more of how the head is attached here, and how it is how you create that underbite jaw with the Nuparu claw. Not a bad look. It's kind of a creative piece usage. And then the black tail, again, continues that color transition where on Morak it doesn't. So yeah, just through creative color choices, Thulox is better. And because the Kalma piece actually matches the colors used within the set, I think that it ends up looking better. So despite Morak having more colorful and creative pieces, Morak has more of a well-tailored color scheme that looks like it was done with intention versus just throws trans stuff together, even if it doesn't match. And even the gunmetal almost kind of lends this to match the black, I guess, match the gray. I don't know. Maybe they could have recolored that in black to give us another recolor. Who knows? So yeah, Thulox, not much to speak about there. Next to me is Defilak. Also, I realize this ranking has 5 options when there's only 4 sets. Whoops. You still stay in 4. And 3 means there's a nice mid-category of nothing. Just to show how much these guys are worse than these two. Defilak. Defilak is really, really cool because I like this Matoran build. I really like this use of the silver Borok tooth with the Prydak dagger. It creates a really nice looking weapon. And this Marder limb didn't really get used on both sides a lot, when actually the piece is well designed to make it look like there is a hand holding a bar. Like, most of the characters that had these arms, never had something connect on both sides. So utilizing that to create it look like it's holding a long blade works really well. They use black as a grounding color. I've never had an issue with that. To me, it harkens back to the Marder. I think Defilak has his long Visorak bone in dark green. I actually kind of wish that was in black. I think it would actually suit this build more. At least this build here has it. Do I have another picture of Defilak? I think that piece... Yeah, that piece is green. Yeah, okay. It's a less common color for that piece. Only really coming in Kongu. But still, just for virtue of this build, I think that would look better in black. Just for the balancing. Silver Zamor launcher on the shoulder. Honestly, with these builds, I think probably would look better in... Sorry, it's gunmetal. I think it would have looked better in silver, to be honest. But it is what it is. I think with weapons being a different color, it's not that big of a deal. Again, reusing the Hordika armor was a great shout on these guys. Again, if they're trying to do the triangle body shape of the 2004 Matoran to emulate that look, it was a good piece choice there. And this was just a criminally underrated piece. I've talked about it many times. Sets with the backwards Paraka torso should have damn used this piece as chest armor. It fits perfectly, especially on a set like Hukimari, which is dog shit. It actually matches the texture of the Garai Kanohi. What a miss. Don't know why they wouldn't use it. But yeah, neat little build. I like the use of the Metru feet. They look very smart on these guys. I think the two Marinui Matoran that came with Karzani overdid it by using Inika-sized feet. They're a little bit too big. But yeah, getting this recolor of the quality is really nice as well. It's weird that... Not weird, but the fact that it's on a green set as well always seems to tie this Kanohi to air characters. Just because the two characters that had it were air characters. But it looks very smart in dark green. Very nice to get a recolor. Similar to the 2006 Matoran, which weirdly makes these guys connected, because, again, technically they're from the same area. They don't have eyes. But with the 2006 Matoran, had an excuse. A lot of those builds, literally, you couldn't use the eye stalk. These guys, you can use the eye stalk. Like, there is enough... Sorry, these are Daycar's instructions. There is enough clearance behind here to use a Metru eye stalk. I understand that the shorter eye stalk came in later in the year. And then the Marinui Matoran that came with Karzani have it. So, you know, if they wanted to go for that look, that's fine. But this has enough space to have the full eye stalk without interfering with anything like the 2006 Matoran would have. So I don't think there's really an excuse that these guys don't have eyes, other than budget, I guess. So I would much prefer these guys to have eyes. And then, of course, the box images of these guys are Lego misleading you, making it look like they have red eyes when they don't. But yeah, I like him. However, my number one is Daycar. Yeah. I don't think that's a hot take. I think that's probably the default choice here. Daycar looks cool. He is a Pomatoran with yellow. Technically the first Pomatoran to use Keet Orange. I mean, Huki, of course, had Keet Orange. But he wasn't a Matoran at that point. But sort of kind of established the stone color again, rather than Huki being some sort of an outlier. Technically, also, he pulled away from what Huki was, what I think the intention with Huki was, with Huki's intention being that the stone color is actually gunmetal. Again, you look at a lot of stone characters and rocks, and having a metallic gray color is quite a rocky color. I think it works as the stone color, but the yellow is a highlight. However, Daycar removes the gunmetal. So actually, I put some blame on Hukimari for getting rid of gunmetal as the replacement stone color, but technically Daycar did it first. Just It's a shame, but that being said, Dakar does rock Keat Orange really nicely, and Keat Orange works as a stone color as well. It's a lot of stony colors that have this orangey color as well. I think people aren't... It's not jarring having this as a color. I think, you know, a shortcoming people may say is, oh, the arms should have been... We could have got these arms recolored in Keat Orange. And yeah, that would have been nice. But I actually think it looks nice with the black arms. I don't have a major issue with that. We did get the Borok legs recolored in Keat Orange, which I argue is if you were going to recolor one of these, recolor those. They're really useful and nice looking. The Kanohi in this color, Kirill, is very, very nice as well. Honestly, probably my favorite color they did this mask in. And he just looks pretty neat. Absolute shame that they basically removed this character. You have Hydraxon, which has all the history with the Tormata, has all of this stuff going on. And he dies to be replaced with an identical clone with the exact same memories, and no one realizes the original died. What is the point of that? Functionally, it means nothing to anyone in story, because they don't realize that Dakar is the new Hydraxon. Because Dakar as Hydraxon has all of Hydraxon's memories, he's essentially the same character. I guess he also has Dakar's memories, but we don't know anything about Dakar, so his memories are meaningless to us as consumers, the audience. So essentially, by killing Hydraxon to replace him with a Dakar clone of Hydraxon with Hydraxon's memories, we don't actually lose Hydraxon, we lose Dakar. Dakar just gets axed from the story for no fucking reason. Stupid as hell. Really stupid as hell. So yeah, this Matoran gets wiped out to get replaced with an identical Hydraxon with Hydraxon's memories that no one in the stories realizes he's been replaced, so it's completely fucking pointless. Stupid as hell. But who am I to judge the infinite wisdom of Greg fucking Farshty? But yeah, simple. I think this is a very easy ranking. Dakar easily is my favorite. Color scheme rocks. Build is cool. Recolored limbs. My favorite color variant of this mask. Most interesting color scheme. Better than the stupid Hydruka. And yeah, that's it. Quick one, I think. Who knows? I still rambled a lot. It might not even be quick. That's my list. No one sits in 3. 3 is there to represent the void between how good these guys are and how mid these guys are. Watch Takeover. Let me know who you want me to rank next, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.